as well. Hi everyone, my name is Mrs. Joyner. I am the alumni counselor here, and I'll be working alongside Ms. Burke and some other college prep instructors this year.
We will hear from a couple of other people in our community shortly, but as you know, it takes a village, so we wanted to make sure that you guys could lay eyes on all the people who will be working together collaboratively to support your student along the way on this journey. All right, so next up, I want to switch gears. We're going to introduce our guests from Isac. They're going to talk about the financial aid and Fafsa process, a very important piece of this college process. I'll turn it over so that you guys can introduce yourself and then we can switch computers.
All right, everyone. My name is Sandra Lopez, and I'm also a Spanish speaker. So if anyone has any questions in Spanish, feel free to ask me, and I'll also pass it over to our guest speaker.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. My name is Francesca Snow. I'm also with Isac, and tonight we're going to be speaking about the financial aid process. So we will get started with that in just a minute here. I will be going through a presentation, and we will have time for question and answer at the end as well. So if you do have questions throughout, please feel free to write them down or keep them for the end, and we can address them at that time. Alrighty, so thank you everyone so much for coming out tonight. Here is the financial aid process, and alright, so I'm here with Isac, otherwise known as the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, and our mission essentially is that we are here to assist students, parents, and families with obtaining the financial aid necessary to pursue college, following a high school degree. And so we are here to help you with that, both in presentations and workshops, but also one-on-one support. So I do have cards I can hand out after the fact, and you can all feel free to reach out as needed for assistance with financial aid steps. So college can look like a lot of different things, and sometimes we forget that there are so many options. So this can look like anything from vocational or trade school or an associate's degree, both of which can be about 2 years, up to you can go into a bachelor's degree for about 4 years, give or take a few years, and then a master's degree can always follow that bachelor's degree for about 1 to 3 years as well. So here is a graphic we use to show the importance of going into some type of post-secondary education. So we have a lot of different levels of education that a student may want to go into following a high school degree here. And this just shows that the usual weekly earnings will increase with more than one degree, and then that unemployment rate will decrease with a higher education as well. So this just shows on average some of the benefits that will come with going to college after high school and how that can help earning and with being able to obtain a career. So during this time of preparation for after all that comes after senior year, there can be a lot of questions that come up, everything from what should come next, how do I afford what will come next, what is the FAFSA, and all types of things in between. So I know this was the case for me when I was preparing for going to college, and we are here with Isac really to assist you with answering these questions and easing some of those concerns that come with this process. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is any type of borrowed, given, or earned money that can be used to assist you in paying for college. So it does come in a lot of different forms, but for a lot of students, it will start with either the FAFSA application or the alternative application. And we really want to be here to remind you that even if it feels overwhelming, even if it feels like maybe something that cannot be obtained for whatever reason, we do want to remind you that it is possible, that with financial aid applications, it really can work out. So that's what we're here to help with. So here are some of the types of financial aid that a student can obtain. These can be broken up into gift aid and self-help aid. So gift aid is what it sounds like. It's more of a gift or a present to the family with less strings attached to it. And so this can come in the form of grants or scholarships. Grants are going to be based more so off of financial need, whereas scholarships can be based off of so many different things, everything from student achievement in high school to maybe extracurriculars that they excel in outside of high school as well, and all type of things in between. There's also self-help aid, which can come in the form of loans, of course, and also work study. So loans, of course, do need to be repaid, and they do come with an interest rate. And work study, we will get into more on the next slide. And work study is essentially something that students can sign up to be considered for while they fill out the FAFSA application. It's something that I would recommend all students check the box for. And essentially, it will allow students to obtain a job on campus while in school that will help them to earn additional funds to either go toward their tuition bill or to into their pocket through direct deposit, which can help pay for any of those miscellaneous needs they may have during college. Some of the benefits are that work study is a little bit more lenient when it comes to knowing that it is a student who is working that job and being a little bit more lenient for, okay, you need to study for a test this weekend. That's more understood for a work study job versus if a student is to get a regular job. It also will benefit the student when they apply for the FAFSA again that next year. That funding that they earn through work study will not work against them, unlike any other regular job would, where it would be considered earnings that they would have to report on the FAFSA. So there are lots of different work study opportunities on campuses, but to get this opportunity, you do need to check the box for yes when you do fill out that FAFSA. So here are 4 of the sources of financial aid that students can obtain financial aid from. So there's everything from the federal government, which is going to be the biggest funding opportunity, the state government, which is also a huge funding opportunity, and this does come through Isac. There's also college or institutional aid, and there are other outside and private sources such as employers and all type of different private sources as well. So here are 2 of those funding sources. You can see Isac listed here as well as the federal site listed here. So in a few moments, I'll be going over some of the state and federal funding opportunities. And if you want to look more into what those entail and if your student may be eligible for those, I will recommend checking out these websites. And that's also something that we can follow up with to help you figure out as well. But these websites do have a lot of information on some of those grants and scholarships and all different type of funding opportunities as well. So here are 2 of those biggest funding opportunities. We have the MAP grant, which a student can earn up to $5,496, and this is a state-based aid program. So this will be something that your students who, of course, live in Illinois will be eligible for if they're going to a state-based institution. The Pell Grant is actually a federal grant, so this grant can earn you up to $6,495, and this is something where the student could be going to school anywhere in the country and could become eligible for this program. So this could bring a student to a total of $11,991, and both of these are based off of a FAFSA application. So just by filling out that initial FAFSA, both of these grants are something that a student could become eligible for and receive. So here we have some of those other ISAC grants that a student may be eligible for, and if you do have questions about that, we can follow up about these different programs. You can see here, in addition to the MAP grant, there's also the Illinois Veteran Grant, the Illinois National Guard Grant, the Grant for Dependents of Police, Fire, and Correctional Officers, and there also are some teaching programs. So if your student may be interested in becoming a teacher, there is the Minority Teachers of Illinois Scholarship, as well as the Special Education Teacher Tuition Waiver. Something to keep in mind with these teaching programs is there are some type of program attached where they are required to teach for a certain amount of time following the completion of their degree. And this is very important to keep in mind because otherwise, if they do not fulfill this requirement, that grant actually will turn into a loan. So that is something to keep in mind with any of these teaching grants that you may take out. So here we have some of the federal programs as well. We have that federal Pell Grant, of course, which is that biggest grant, and this is based on financial need. And we also have the Iraq and Afghanistan Service Grant and the TEACH Grant. There's also two campus-based programs I'll mention here, the FSCOG grant, which is based off of high financial need, and of course that federal work study, which I did mention before. So if you do have questions on these, we also can follow up and provide additional information about these as well. So as far as loan programs go, there are several things to keep in mind if you are considering taking out loans for a college degree. You want to consider the source of the loan, whether the loan is subsidized or unsubsidized, that interest rate that accompanies the loan, and then also the repayment options and the grace period. The repayment options are going to be how quickly that loan has to be paid back and what that monthly payment will look like. And that grace period just means how long after completion of that degree you will begin paying back on that loan. So as far as subsidized and unsubsidized goes, subsidized loans are going to be the preferred loan type. Subsidized loans mean that it is a need-based loan, and it will have the interest paid by the federal government at any time when the student is in school at least half time during those grace periods and during periods of deferment. So this is the preferred loan, and this is something to pay attention to when you're looking at that financial aid award letter. The unsubsidized loans will not be need-based, and they actually will require the student to pay interest for all times. So whether the student is in school during grace periods and deferment, the student will still accrue interest on that loan and will be required to pay that. So one way to remember that is the U on unsubsidized stands for you must pay that back, so that all is on you. So here we have some more information about the federal loan programs for 2021-2022. You can see here that for the undergraduate students, those loan types have pretty similar information with a 3.73 fixed interest rate and a 6-month grace period. We will skip over the third line because that doesn't apply unless you are a graduate student. And for the fourth line, we can see that it discusses the direct plus parent loan. And so this is something that may be offered to students through their financial aid award letter. If you are offered this, this is something that's actually being offered to your parent and not to you as the student. So parents, this is something that does have a higher interest rate. It would be going directly to the parent with that 6.2% to 8% fixed interest rate, and the grace period is shorter with only 60 days before repayment begins. So this is something you may want to consider if this is or is not the right option for you or not. Here we can see those maximum direct loan amounts, and you can see that essentially these increase with each year in school, and for most students, this will be the dependent student column that you're looking at, considering that most students who are not of age 24 or older will be considered dependent students. And so each year, beginning with that 5,500 or that 3,500, that loan amount will likely increase for your student. So now that we've gone through all of that information, that background information about the financial aid process, we will get into the aspect of how you actually apply for financial aid. So most students will start with the Fafsa application, and some students may not be eligible for that, in which case they could most likely apply for the alternative application. And of course, there are other forms as well, so some of those private scholarships and opportunities can be filled out as well. So here you can see an image of what the Fafsa webpage looks like. So when your student goes to fill out the Fafsa application, they will be filling out something that should look like this on the first page on the internet. So if they do go to a page to ask them to pay any money or looks different than this, they most likely are on the wrong website because this application is entirely free. And this application will have students consider for state and federal aid, and in some cases also for college or institutional aid, depending on the college. So this is the first place to start for most students as long as they are eligible for this application. Some students may not be eligible for the Fafsa, in which case they may be eligible for the alternative app. This is also a completely free application, and it is only for state aid, so it will not have students considered for the Pell Grant. This application is only open to qualifying undocumented students and transgender students who are not eligible to complete a FAFSA. So if your student is filling out a FAFSA, you can disregard this application because it does not apply to them. So as far as the financial aid process goes for this upcoming year, students can begin filling this out as soon as October 1st. So in the meantime, prior to that, they can begin creating their Fsa Id, which we will get to shortly. But until then, you do have to wait until October 1st for the actual application. High school seniors are eligible to complete this application, and college students are as well. So each year following this first application, students will have to reapply every October. Here you can see the websites listed. So we have www.fafsa.gov, and you also have the alternative application website listed there as well. So again, this will determine students for federal aid and state aid programs if they are doing the FAFSA, and also for some state aid or some college aid as well. So a big part of the FAFSA application that's important for students and parents to keep in mind is that most students are required to fill in and use parent information. So unless the students are age 24 or older or have special circumstances, they most likely will have to provide parent documentation. For the purposes of the FAFSA, the only people considered parents and able to provide that information are going to be biological parents, adoptive parents, and step parents who are married to the biological parent. For the FAFSA, legal guardians are not considered parents. And if the parents are divorced or not married, then the student provides the information from the parent they have lived with the most in the past 12 months. So here you can see an overview of the information needed for this FAFSA application process or for this alternative application process. So for the FAFSA only, students will need their social security number. So in order to create that Fsa Id, this is essential. They do need that correct social security number. For the creation of a Fsa Id for parents, they also will need that social security number. If they do not have one, that is fine because they can fill out the paper signature version of the Fsa Id. If a student has an alien registration number, they will need that, and of course, all students will need their Fsa Id to complete that FAFSA. For either the FAFSA or the alternative application, all students will need federal tax returns, W-2s, and any other records of income from 2020. So this goes for parents and students. If the parents have these documents from 2020, the student will need them, and if the student worked, say, in 2020, they will need those documents as well. So they will need their own records of these as well as the parents. In addition, any banking statements and records of investments and any records of untaxed income are needed from that year 2020. And then finally, students will also need a list of the colleges they would like to attend. So there's really a limitless number on this, but we do recommend having a few schools in mind when you fill out that FAFSA to put on that application. As far as the electronic signature goes, the student will need to create an Fsa Id prior to filling out and completing that FAFSA. So this is something they will need their social security number for and an appropriate personal email address. So it cannot be their school email address because they need to be able to log back in later on as well. For this process, in addition to the student doing it, the parent also does need to create an Fsa Id if possible. If they cannot, again, they can print out that signature page and do that process instead. If the student is doing an alternative application, they can instead create a PIN, which just requires an email. And similar to the Fsa Id, the parent will also have to create their own PIN as well. Something that I highly recommend doing in the case of filling out the FAFSA is using the IRS data retrieval tool in this process. This will link the information from the IRS to the FAFSA, and it will speed up the process a lot and make it a lot easier on students and parents. This is something that as long as you have filled out those 2020 taxes, you should be eligible for, and it will also decrease the likelihood of verification, which is a process that can come up for students later on. Something to keep in mind is that an expected family contribution number is being created when you fill out the FAFSA. So this is a number that the FAFSA generates based on a formula they have And based off of all the information you provide them, which they use to generate the amount of money that the government will try to provide families with to help them meet that financial need. So I mentioned verification before. Verification is a process that students sometimes get selected for. It does not mean they did anything wrong, but it's just something where students may be asked to submit additional documentation after the fact, and it is essential that students do this if they are selected for this, because this will hold up the financial aid being processed and then receiving those funds. So if you are selected for this, make sure to get all documents in on time so that you can get that funding released to start school on time. So how much does college cost? Here you can see several of the different costs that will go into the number for the cost of attendance. Everything from tuition and fees to room and board, transportation, books and supplies, and then any of those miscellaneous living expenses that come up as well. And the reason I go over the COA and the EFC is because those numbers create the number of financial need, which is how much funding you are trying to get in order to be able to obtain that college degree and be able to afford college. So here you can see some of those numbers being shown above. So for example, we could say that college A is Malcolm X, college B might be UIC, and college C might be DePaul. You can see these different costs of attendance reflected there. You also will see that the EFC stays the same. So that's that number that's generated from filling out that FAFSA. And then you can see that that financial need does change. So that's the amount of funding that a student needs to help them pay for that college degree. And I would discourage students from being nervous to apply for those higher priced colleges, because sometimes those schools do give out a lot of aid, because sometimes they have a lot of aid attached to them and their university. So all of these numbers could be obtained in that financial need from filling out that FAFSA and any other applications as well. So financial aid offers are something that will come up after successfully completing that financial aid application. And the one thing to keep in mind with financial aid offers is they can look many different ways, they come in many different forms, but we do have a document that can help you with this process on the Isac student portal, and this can help you to fill in all those numbers and compare what you're really being offered. So you do want to look for gift aid. Of course, that's the aid that you don't have to pay back or work for, and you want to see what's going to be the right fit for you and your family. So here are a few quick tips and reminders. We do want to remind you that anytime after October 1st, you can begin filling out that FAFSA or alternative application. And that is something that's really highly recommended, because over time, some of that funding does deplete. For example, the MAP grant, that funding will start to disappear as students fill out that FAFSA application and alternative application. So do apply for it sooner than later. Something else to keep in mind when you are submitting your information for the FAFSA or alternative app is this information is not shared. So it is going for the specific purpose of providing you with financial aid, but it will not be shared with other branches or people in the government, and it is pretty confidential, so there's no need to worry about that. With all of these processes, I would recommend keeping verification in mind. If you do get selected, make sure to complete that on time. And being very organized for students is important with this. So lots of deadlines will be coming up. So making sure you write those deadlines down will really help you out in the long run. So one more thing to mention is reapplying every year. So every October, students will need to reapply for this if they are going back into school the next year. So here is an overview again of that process. So you can see here those steps that go into applying for financial aid, and there are several steps to it, but it is just important to stay organized and keep on top of emails that you may receive and verification, all those different things, and you will be all right. And again, that is what we are here for at Isac, is to help you through this process. Here is an overview of what the Isac student portal looks like. I really recommend checking out this website. It has a lot of great resources. For example, CAPEX can help you find colleges that are a good fit for you. So if you have a major, a location, and different factors like that in mind, CAPEX can help you with that. Illinois WorkNet can help you find careers and jobs that fit what you may be looking for. And there are many other resources and tools on this website to help you out through this process. Here again are a list of these websites. You can see the Isac student portal listed there, the federal aid site, the FAFSA application, and the alternative application listed here. Here are several numbers I would really recommend if you want to either take out your phone right now and text the area code that fits your phone. You can reach out and just provide your phone number or provide your name, and you can get assistance from Isac experts about any type of college or financial aid related questions. And this is a great resource for both parents and students who are going through this process, and there are lots of experts to help you along the way. So I'll give you a second to make sure you're able to capture these numbers or take a photo or whatever you may want to do. All right, and here is my contact information. You can also take a photo of this. You can text me with your name, any questions you have. I'm here for both parents and students and any family members helping with this process who may want to get assistance with this whole process. You can email, call, or text, and I will reach back out to assist you with this process. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time and your patience. And at this time, do we have any quick questions? I know I've been talking for a while now. Which one? The other side. Yes.
The question is, once you already have an FSID, how do you relocate it?
Once I put my information back in there, it's going to ask me for that password, and I don't remember. So how would you find it?
Okay, so that's a great question. With the FSA IDs, there can be a lot of questions with them. If you have already created one and you get locked out for whatever reason, is that kind of what you're asking? You can reset that password. So it will allow you to reset that password. That's why you think either a phone or an email, and that will allow you to reset. You also will have challenge questions which you can use to recreate that password as well. And for our students, you guys will be creating your FSA ID on Monday in class, so you'll be ready when the FAFSA releases. Any other final questions for our representatives? All right, if not, we can give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for this helpful information. All right, and so as we are switching devices again, I just want to remind you to make sure that you guys are registering on the form. So students and parents need to take a picture of the QR code and complete the registration form. Students, that's your opportunity to make sure that your name is accurately spelled on your diploma, and for you to submit your information so that we can size you correctly for your cap and gown. And so now I am going to turn it over to Ms. Burke, who will talk to us about the college counseling process.
Thank you very much. All right. So I'm going to spend some time with you to go over the CTK college counseling process. But a quick reminder here, something for our seniors to know. I like that quote, you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. We could go ahead. So I ask that you sign up for remind.com if you've not done so already. I will be using that as a way to connect with you all to send important updates from college counseling, some reminders of important deadlines, things like that. I also will be sending parent emails weekly, every Friday, to keep everyone in the know, again, of important updates and deadlines coming up. The SAT without the essay is going to be Wednesday, October 13th here at CTK. We are offering it here at CTK for all seniors. It is a graduation requirement to take it in the fall, so that's an important date to remember. I'm going to talk about why college, our philosophy, and the process here at CTK. All right, so this is our wonderful college team here. So Ms. Dowell, as you know, myself, Ms. Burke as the college counselor, our alumni counselor, who you met earlier, Mrs. Joyner, and then our interns, Mr. Carpio, who is the scholarship coordinator, so anything scholarship related, seeking out scholarships, applying to scholarships, Mr. Carpio is your go-to contact. Ms. Malone helping with our college visits, and then our wonderful college prep teachers, Mr. Mohammed and Ms. Servala, and then Mr. O'Brien, who's helping anywhere in between. All right, so why college? When we've asked this question before to previous CTK students, these were the words that came up the most when we asked why college. So, will help people, that kind of brings it back home of, why college, back to our CTK community. So, I'm going to move over here so I can see. So a degree is more critical to success in the workforce now more than ever. So after the post-Great Recession, of the over 11 million jobs, 99% of those were given to workers with at least some college education, and the majority of those jobs went to folks who had a bachelor's degree or higher. So bachelor's degree holders tend to be wealthier. Bachelor's degree holders earn nearly 1.8 the lifetime earnings of high school diploma holders. So we know it's not all about money, right? But we want our CTK students to be wealthier, healthier, and happier. So while increased earnings are just a primary benefit, bachelor's degrees also positively impact access to benefits like job safety and security, intergenerational wealth, decrease of crime and incarceration. It positively impacts community health, life expectancy, healthy behaviors. It helps with philanthropy, social capital, but importantly, self-reported happiness. So this is our philosophy here in CTK's College Counseling Office. So we believe that the primary role of the College Counseling and Alumni Advising Team is to support students in applying to, enrolling in, and completing a degree in a university that's realistic, affordable, and ambitious. So not only will we help you to apply and enroll within a university, our support continues post-graduation. So we will help you see you through to that degree completion at a realistic, affordable, and ambitious institution. So students should be casting a wide net of college applications. So making sure they have multiple options before making a decision in the spring. And hearing no indicates that you are doing the process correctly. We want to challenge our students to apply to schools that may be a little bit of a reach, but we know you can do it, and hearing no again indicates that you're doing that process and you're challenging yourself. We believe in an alignment of resources, culture, and academic profiles. So we consider a good fit to connect to all of those things. Yes, we start at a good academic fit to make sure that we are finding schools that fit our academic needs, but it's very important to make sure that those financial resources, that culture fit are also being considered before we make a decision. We believe that the success of our students in their college completion is the ultimate milestone for our CTK college program. So again, our support does not end after graduation. We want to see you guys through your programs and celebrate that milestone together. So based on some data within the Cristo Rey network, these are the things to consider. These are where most of our Cristo Rey students demonstrate success. So at schools that are 4-year, that are private, out of state, Catholic, one of our university partners, and schools that are more selective. So based on this data, we can hypothesize that students are more likely to persist at match and overmatch colleges. So again, based on this data from alumni here at CTK and data from alumni within the CRE survey network, again, our students are most likely to persist at match and overmatch schools. Now you may ask, what does that mean? Overmatch and reach schools mean that a student's GPA and SAT score is below the average accepted student at that school. Match or target schools mean that a student's SAT score and GPA are in alignment with the average student that's admitted to that school. Undermatch and safety schools mean that the student is above the average accepted at that school. So though we know these are our targets, match schools is not a guarantee that you get into that school, but will most likely to be getting into that school, and that's why we encourage reach schools. Just because you don't have the grade, you can have an awesome personal statement, letter of recommendation, and that can get you into that reach school. So we believe if students apply to a sufficient number of a good mix of schools, which include match and dream four-year schools, they will have a good chance of being accepted to appropriate and high-quality options to assess for fit. We believe if students are accepted to one or more four-year options, then they will have options for evaluation of fit at institutions likely to support their persistence and completion of that program. We believe if students enroll at a good fit four-year college with adequate support and a good graduation rate, they're more likely to persist and graduate. And then we believe if students persist at an institution with sufficient financial, social, and academic support from year to year, they will probably complete their degree, which will lead to our end goal of graduation. So you might recognize this slide from the Isac presentation. I'm sure you all didn't sign up to do math problems tonight, but here's a quick little math problem. Comparing financial aid packages. So I understand that Francesca went through the different sort of packages from A to B to C, but let's say your student receives $2,000 in scholarships and $3,000 in loans. What would the monthly out-of-pocket cost be? Right, so this is why we want to consider cost as a fit factor as well. So doing the math, the remaining cost, let's say for college A, would be $2,000. So that would lead to a monthly out-of-pocket payment of $200 a month. Compared to college C, which would leave remaining costs being $27,000, that would lead to $2,700 a month for out-of-pocket payments. All right, so we want to make sure we are making those financial decisions as a fit factor as well. So our college process. Starting next month through December, we are kicking off college applications, scholarship applications, FAFSA completion, and IRS transcripts requests. Okay, so application season officially kicks off at College Application Bootcamp on October 21st, where we will be working with seniors to complete applications in real time in person. January through March, we will work on getting those college acceptances. March through April, review financial aid packages, complete financial aid verification, and visit schools. May 1st is National Signing Day, which is the national deadline to make a college decision. Then May through June, we will complete exit interviews with the joiner, and then begin that transition into college. So that includes accepting your financial aid awards, selecting housing, meal plans, registering for orientation, all of that good stuff. By summer, you'll attend orientation, complete federal loan requirements, and finalize all those details. And then just in a year from now, August, September, you will be off to college. So the requirements that we have as a college counseling department: complete 8 college applications. Again, you're going to have to widen that, and that's going to include schools within undermatched, matched, and overmatched requirements. Taking the SAT. Again, we are hosting the SAT here at CTK on October 13th. We will have all CTK senior families complete the FAFSA by December 3rd, apply to 2 scholarships by December 11th, and 1 must-required essay. Now, we ask that students take this seriously because this is an opportunity to make a school that may be your dream school a little bit more financially reasonable for you. Attend 5 internal college visits by December 8th. We have schools coming to visit CTK either in person or virtually almost every day during advisory period for students to learn more about various different colleges. So you must attend 5 of those by the 8th. What if your son or daughter wants to do an external visit? Awesome, we highly encourage that. That would be considered an excused absence. You would have to reach out to our dean's office and also show proof of documentation to the college counseling office to make sure you got credit for that visit. So the SAT, again, October 13th. This is a graduation requirement. We also have College Expiration Day coming up on October 28th. So if students miss the SAT on this date, the next in-school option is October 28th. So we don't want you to miss out on College Expiration Day. So please come on the 13th to complete that SAT requirement. So parents, how can you help? There's a number of ways that you can be supportive and engaged during this process by discussing options with your student, initial college choices, speaking about financial aid packages, making a final decision together, and start the FAFSA early and work together on that FAFSA. You can reach out to our office with any questions or concerns, or schedule a meeting to talk about your final decision and financial aid packages. As a college counseling team, we'll reach out again with weekly updates. We're happy to discuss college options, financial aid packages, and help you to make that final decision as well. We have a college counseling website that has awesome tools for seniors and parents. So we can provide you with that link so you have access if you have not checked it out already. Any questions? Great question.
So proof of an external visit. So if you sign up for like a tour, if you send the confirmation email, if you bring a pamphlet back from that school, a picture of yourself on campus, things like that would count as proof of documentation. Great question. Anything else? Yes. So the time frame approves, I believe it's 5 days are approved for college visits. So you can get 5 excused absences during the school year for college visits. Yes?
They still be responsible for the work that they missed.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. So I am going to bring us home and talk about our graduation requirements and senior activities. I know that's the moment that everybody is sitting patiently waiting for. So just one thing, if you haven't completed the family needs assessment, you'll see it in emails from Ms. Olson, you'll see it in emails from the counseling team. Please complete it. It is helpful for our counseling department to know just drop off that yellow sheet to us so that we know that you are aware of the graduation requirements. So first, in your folders, you will see, if your student completed this in college prep class, you'll see a why statement. And so we have our students, that's one of the first activities they do in college prep because we really want them to reflect on this process. Like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why do you care about school? Why are you trying to graduate? Why do you want to go to college? Because senior year can definitely be challenging. There's a lot of stressful things going on, a lot of ups and downs. But we want them to be reminded about why they are here and why they are doing this work. So you can see your students' response in your folders, but I just wanted to share what my response is to my why. So my why, or what I'm doing, is hoping to provide a quality education to students of color. That's important to me. That's my passion. That's why I am here. So that they can have the opportunity to reach their highest potential in life. So I want to make sure that you guys can do what you guys want to do after you graduate from us here at Christ the King. A very important piece of this process is that our students are academically successful. So parents, if you want to stay in the know, our students are, most of our classes are still on Google Classroom, so you guys can have access to that. Teachers will have sent out an email link. Once you add yourself for one class, you'll be added to all of your students' classes. So, feel free to do that and make sure you do that so that you can know what's going on in your students' classes, what assignments they have, what assignments they've completed. And you can also see missing work, upcoming work, and what they're currently working on in class if you are connected to Google Classroom. So we definitely encourage you to do that. For our graduation requirements, again, academically, our grading policy is that if a student misses an assignment, it's the 50% goes in the grade book, so it's a failing grade, but it's not so detrimental to where they can't make it up. 60% if they partially did an assignment or they did not demonstrate mastery on that assignment. And then in terms of late work, the late work policy slightly varies from class to class, but overall, students can submit late work for major assignments, though there may be a penalty assessed. Teachers may or may not accept late work for smaller, minor assignments. And then our students do have the opportunity to redo assessments, redo major assignments, because we really want them to focus on the learning. So if they try it once and they don't understand it and they don't perform well, they do have the opportunity to retake that major assignment or to redo that major assignment, to retake that major test or redo that major assignment so that they can improve their grades. And as we know that this is one of the critical semesters that are going to be attached to your college applications. And then lastly, attendance. Attendance is still important. I know we've been out of school for a while and some of our students have picked up jobs and they have other things going on. But we just want you guys to be reminded that coming to school, being in classes is going to help you in this journey, and it's going to help make things easier for you so that you can stay academically successful. So in order to graduate, you have to pass all of your classes. So you have to make sure that you are earning at least a 70% in all of your classes for senior year. And then that final graduation eligibility deadline is going to be Tuesday, May 31st. So at that point, you have to have all of any missing credits. You have to be passing all of your classes. All those graduation requirements have to be in place by this date. If at this point a student is not passing the class, they won't be able to participate in graduation. They will be able to recover those classes in the summer, but we do not offer a summer graduation ceremony. Also in your folder, you will see a letter. So you guys will receive this from me once a quarter, first semester, and then you'll receive it from me at every marking period, second semester. So it's to provide you information on where your student currently stands with respect to graduation. So it's definitely an important document to look for. You can see their current grades, their current GPA, how many classes they may not be passing, where they stand with respect to CWSP, and where they stand with respect to their service hours. So please make sure that you are looking out for these letters begin at the quarter point for this semester. And then next semester, you'll get them more frequently as we get closer to the finish line. Any student who is enrolled in the AP exam is required to take that AP exam. So make sure that you guys are aware of when they are taking place and that you are here to take those exams so that you can close out the requirement for that class. And then corporate work study is still an important piece to our program and our curriculum. So our students, they are either deployed or they were remote or they are waiting for a job. And there are required things that they should be taking care of in each of these settings. So just make sure that they are doing that and that they are completing work and that they are attending work so that they don't have any makeup days to complete. And then by November 1st, because of the new federal legislation, by November 1st, our students will have to be vaccinated in order to go off-site to work. Okay? They can't go off-site to work. They'll have to be work like here in the school or online. Yeah. But that's a federal mandate that just went into place so that since we have so many student workers, so many employers, we have to abide by that law as well. No, so CWSP is aware of that conflict, and so we're going to make arrangements for that. All right. And so as more companies come on board, as we have more jobs available, you guys will start to be deployed if you are not deployed, so that you still get that work experience at a company that you signed up for at Christ the King. So I'm going to turn it over briefly to Ms. Rockstar, Director of Christian Service and Social Justice.
Hi everyone, it's great to be with you all tonight. My name is Ms. Rox, and I am one of your students' teachers, either in the first or second semester in our Faith and Justice class, and then I also run our Service and Justice program. So I just want to give you a brief overview of this particular requirement that you have for your senior year. Mr. Fuentes, can you hit the advance just once? So, as a senior at Christ the King, just like every year you've been a student at Christ the King, you'll have a service and justice requirement. So you can see, and you have a little purple sheet in your folder that has these as well. It's like a nice little lavender. This year we're going to ask you to do 15 independent service and justice hours earned at a nonprofit organization or through CTK programming. So you might notice that number looks different than last year. Last year we were living in COVID world, and it really wasn't safe for us to do a lot of service. As the world is opening up again, we've found ways to do service safely and really help our neighbors on the west side. So we'll also offer a Gladiator Day of Generosity during your senior week. So right before you graduate, for you to earn some service hours, but then also give back to your community one last time before you graduate. So 15 hours, there are some specific requirements around what constitutes Christian service and justice and what does not. So you can earn these 15 hours in two ways: at a non-for-profit that's been approved by CTK, or through CTK-sponsored programs, and I'll talk about those in a moment. To get a nonprofit approved, it's pretty simple. We keep a list of nonprofits that we work with on the west side in the city, and opportunities that you can go and do service. And you'll see these little QR codes on that purple sheet, and you can scan those and take a look at the list that we keep. But if you work with an organization, there's a quick form that you fill out that just tells me a little bit more about what the organization does. You can pop a link to the website just to make sure that it kind of fits our requirements. And that is important to do before you do service, because we want to make sure that the service you're doing, you get credit for. So it's important to make sure you get that organization approved first. A quick note, these 15 hours you cannot earn at home or for family, or at a for-profit organization. We're really doing this work for God. We're doing this work rooted in our faith. We really want to work for our neighbors on the margins. So we also offer opportunities at Christ the King for you to engage in service and so you can see a list of upcoming school-sponsored opportunities. You can come out on a Saturday morning and we go and do service at a local food pantry. We also will be doing some other social justice engagement at school, so you can stay after school and do that. We're going to start a tutoring program next month at a local grade school, so you can come out and tutor some of the youth in our community. And then we'll also have some opportunities around Thanksgiving and Christmas for you to come and give back. So just so you know, if you're feeling like, I'm not really sure where to get my service done, we offer a lot of ways for you to get it done with us. Yeah. Great question. So you might see on your student profile that Ms. Dowell was just talking about, that's the number they still need. The number they still need.
Okay, so then that's my area. It's definitely need.
Yes, it's definitely need. So if there's errors on that sheet, Ms. Dowell can talk about that afterwards. Quick note, some of you may be thinking, what about the hours that I didn't finish last year? What about the hours I might have still outstanding? You might be thinking about some things that are still kind of weighing on you in that way. We just want to take a moment to note that last year was really challenging for a lot of us. It was challenging in many ways, especially because we weren't able to do service in those traditional ways. And so we just want to talk, we as a community here discerned that we wanted to, because of the pandemic and the challenges associated, kind of wipe the slate clean. So all missing service hours from our 2 COVID years, 19 and 20 and 20 and 21, have been waived. So just take a moment to relish in that. That's something that you were worried about. And if you're a student who had outstanding service hours from your freshman year, you'll see there's a little note for you to have a check-in with me, a one-on-one, so we can work together to make sure that you have a plan to get these hours done this year. And then this will talk about more in your classes, but you are going to log your service hours on MobileServe. I'll explain how to do that in religious studies classes, but this is going to be how you log and track your hours. So you know all the time how many hours you have and how many more you have to do. This is also a great place to look for opportunities for service and to sign up. And then the last thing here is the graduation eligibility deadline. We ask that all service hours are done by May 13th to make sure that I have enough time to approve them so that you are ready to cross that stage in the beginning of June. All right, that's all I have, and I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, the wonderful Ms. Cheryl Catledge, who's going to talk to you about the other piece of your formation as men and women for others this year, the very important Kairos Retreat. So here you go, Ms. Catledge.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Good evening, everyone. Like she said, my name is Mrs. Catledge. I am the Director of Campus Ministry, and I'm here to talk to you about the wonderful, famous Kairos Retreat. All right? The Kairos Retreat is a special time for all of our senior students where we take them out of their ordinary life. We take them away from school, we take them away from their families, and they come together with us to commune with God and retreat, learn to be leaders in their communities and also in their families. Okay? The 2 dates for the Kairos Retreat are April 24th to April 26th. That should be 2 April 26th. That's an error. And the next Kairos Retreat is May 6th to May 8th. At this time right now, I have not worked out the times of the Kairos Retreat, but I promise you, as soon as we do, you will get the times. All right, this is where we're going. Lasalle Manor Retreat Center is a retreat center that we have been using ever since 2012, taking students out to retreats there. It is about a 45-minute drive from Christ the King, and it has a whole lot there that really, really enhances the experience of a Kairos Retreat. So CTK has a few guidelines to try to keep everyone safe, okay? The first one, I guess the biggest one is, all students and staff must have received their vaccination prior to the retreat date in order to participate in any overnight retreats. Okay, that is a CTK rule. All right, the next one is everyone is going to have to get their temperature checked once we enter the retreat center. All retreatants must do the normal, sanitize, wash hands, all that kind of stuff. Wear a mask at all times. Okay, and I have verified the retreat staff will have to adhere to safety guidelines as well. I know what your question is. I'm gonna get there. I promise. All right. Okay, Lasalle Manor has some guidelines for us also. The entire facility is clean and sprayed often, in between any time somebody comes there. Also, they require us to get our temperatures checked once we enter. Again, they're requiring us to do the same, what I said on that last slide. Everyone has to wear a mask. Pretty much the same thing I said prior. Okay, frequently asked questions. Is the retreat mandatory? Yes, it is. I am asked that all the time. Yes, it is. It is a graduation requirement. Next question. Can I change my retreat date? I haven't assigned the dates yet. I'm working on that. That's kind of a big job. Currently, I'm gonna be honest, I'm working on our freshman retreat now, which is next week. So I'm going to get to the Kairos Retreat after that. All right? But when I send the dates out and the assignments out, and there is a switch and someone can't go, I must receive that request from the parents. Okay? From the parents. Last thing. Is there an alternate plan in lieu of my student attending the retreat? Yes. If you opt out of your child attending the retreat, I will put together an alternate retreat for them. It will be right here in this gym. All right, I don't have the date for that. It will probably be sometime in May, but there definitely is an alternate plan if you opt out for your child to attend the retreat out at Lasalle Manor. Okay. Now, another thing we have is our famous baccalaureate mass, and that is a really special mass that we invite all of the seniors and all of the parents to come together. And that date is going to be on a Tuesday, May 31st. Okay? Location, we're still working on it. Most likely here in our gym, because that's where it was last year, but we're still working on that to get that together. Okay? Any questions? No. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. So here we are, the moment that I know our students have definitely been waiting for, senior activities. So again, in your packet, there is a packet that has a lot of information and a lot of details about dates, costs, location, and everything for senior activities. So I will give you guys some highlights here. So first thing, students, make sure that you registered. Make sure that when you do for your diploma, that you spell your name exactly as it should look on your diploma. So capitalizations need to be correct, punctuations need to be correct. For your middle name, it's up to you, but you can have name, initial, or it can be blank. And then make sure that you're putting your size on there accurately so that your cap and gown can fit properly. Senior class 3, you guys see the packet of information in your folder. Our representative will be here on September 30th in order to collect ring orders and ring deposits. So for silver rings, the deposit is $80. If you are getting a gold ring, the deposit is $150. And the Gladiator package, I'll talk about that shortly. It's a deal. It's the red sheet of paper that you see in your packet. And then the balance will be due in December. So they'll put you on a payment plan, and then in December, he'll be back to deliver the rings for anybody who has paid off their ring balance by that time. The senior package, so there's some examples up front, but you can also see them on your screen. So the senior package comes with 2 like CTK colors or anything, but they are senior, and they are 2020, they represent the senior class of 2020. So you will be able to wear those for Spirit Wear Mondays. And so if you're interested in that, that package is $2.99 plus shipping is $10. And the deposit for that packet is $100. So it's really a really good deal if you were interested in all those items. So senior activities, we'll continue to monitor the guidelines and see what's going on in our world and our community. And the dates and activities shared are our current plans, but we may make adjustments along the way based on what's going on with the pandemic. So, grad night, actually it is scheduled. So for us, we will be going on May 14th. College Signing Day is when our students will stand up before our school community and their families and announce what college they are going to be attending. So that's going to be on May 16th. Senior prom, we plan to have it if everything goes well, and that's going to be on May 21st. And so for students to attend any senior activities, prom, grad night, anything, they will have to be vaccinated and their guests will have to be vaccinated. So that's our school policy around that, to keep everybody safe. And then senior luncheon is going to be on May 26th. We are working on the location details, but the cost will be $35 as it has been in the past. All right, so if you are looking to get vaccinated or need help, we have a couple of clinics coming up. So on October 6th during lunchtime, we'll have a clinic here so you can get vaccinated. We'll also have that on October 27th. If you are older than 18, then you can sign up for it. You don't need to complete paperwork or have parent permission. If you're under 17, you do need to have parent permission, and there is a form that you need to complete.
You said under 17, so they're 17 to sit on their own?
If they're 17 and under.
They have to have parent permission.
All right. So graduation. Rehearsal is going to be on June 2nd. It is at 11 a.m. It is here. The big thing every year, students being on time. We need you to be on time so that we can get out of here on time. And we really can't start until everybody's here because we have to show you guys how to line up, walk in and out. So, the June 2nd, 11 a.m. here. The graduation ceremony is also here. It's Friday, June 3rd at 2 p.m. Students must arrive at 12:30 so we can get you guys ready and organized for the ceremony. And this year, we anticipate that students will be able to bring 4 guests. So that's growth from last year. We were only able to have 2 guests last year. And again, that means that we're in a better situation next year, then we will hopefully be able to add more guests. But for right now, we just want you guys to know and expect that you can have 4 guests. Yes, we want to make a note. Somebody asked earlier, can caps be decorated? Unfortunately, they cannot be. But kind of the workaround for that is if you have like a cardboard piece that you decorate, you can definitely pop that on after the graduation ceremony. But for the actual ceremony, we want everybody to be uniform in their maroon caps and gowns, so you cannot decorate your caps for the ceremony. Yes? Is there a reason why you can't decorate your caps? Yep, just because I just said they want everybody to be uniform in their maroon caps and gowns. So we want those pictures to look nice and crisp, and so for the ceremony, they cannot be decorated. All right, so there are prom attire guidelines. They are detailed in your packet. Basically, at the end of the day, young ladies will need to submit their outfits for approval, just so that we can make sure that they meet the guidelines. So before you can even get your prom ticket, we need to make sure that you are checking in with us to make sure that you are adhering to the guidelines. The biggest thing are like no super plunging net lines and no like exposed stomach. So no shear or anything in the stomach area. That area has to be covered. The back can be out, that's what you want to do, but it just can't be lower than your natural hip line, like where naturally your pants would sit. And yes, no visible tattoos know the routine. You guys know the rules and expectations. We really rarely have an issue with this. We have higher expectations for seniors so that you guys, your max that you can earn in terms of demerits is 50 demerits. If you go over 50 demerits, then some of the senior privileges will start to be taken away. Now you can earn merits. Those happen through the Dean's Department, but that will happen after you earn your 15 social justice or service hours. You can begin to earn merits to reduce your demerit count. All right, so please don't forget to make sure you register using the Q card. Please make sure that you sign the yellow sheet to just say that you understand, and we just walk through all the senior contract information. And if you are interested in receiving texts from our college team, please make sure that you sign up for that. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to come stop and talk to myself or any of the members of the team. Thank you guys. Have a good night. See you students bright and early.